Hello and welcome to my podcast, Yarn Chats. My name is Nicole and I'm the brains and the beauty behind Yarn Craft by Nicole. This week I've got a lot of fun things to show you. I've got some exciting news to show you, so let's just get started. Today I've got on my Shiloh cardigan. I'm gonna get up so you can really see the stitch definition, from Hooked Hazel. I love her patterns. I wear this cardigan all the time. I think every time that I put this on, I tell myself I need to make a long sleeve version. But it's perfect for today because it's kind of drizzly outside. I also got my DMV photo today, so this was an easy something to throw on to add a little color and coziness to my outfit for today. So I like this a lot. I've also got my Cardigan shawl over here on Francesca. This is a pattern by Classic City Crochet, and I really like this because this yarn up here at the top is a New York dyer, and this is also from the same one. Her name is Hugh Made, and it's stunning, and I need to buy more of her yarn. So these are a couple of cute projects that I wanted to point off right from the start. So let's start with finished makes, and I think I only have one, but I'm really close on the second one. So last week I think I had, it was almost 6x6, but this is a linen stitch square blanket that I made for a friend of mine. I haven't thrown this in the wash yet, but I will the next time I have a load of things that are close in color to this. I used Caron Simply Soft yarn, and I really like the way it came out. Each of the squares are 8 rounds. I used a size eye hook and worsted weight yarn. And then after I seamed them together, how many rounds did I do on the outside? Did 5 rounds of linen stitch on the outside. So a fun and simple project, but I think it came out really well. And because this is 100% acrylic yarn, it's great for babies because you can just throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, easy care, which is ideal. So this is the only thing I have finished, but I do want to go back to something I showed you last week that I told you I would be able to tell you a little bit more about in the coming weeks, and I'm now ready to tell you about it. So I finished this one, I think, while we were moving. So while we were in the process of moving from Michigan to New York, I finished this pretty girl, the linen square or fancy linen square blankets, and I now have a blog post up on my website, yarncraftbynicole.com, and the blog post is called Fancy Linen Square Blanket and Big News. So this is actually going to be for my little girl. We found out earlier this year that we're pregnant and we're having a little girl in December. So now I know this will be for her. So I can just picture in my head like newborn pictures with her in this, all swaddled up in a basket or something cute. But I love the colors, and I think that's going to be perfect for a little girl. These are all leftover yarns from projects that I really enjoyed making. This is all hand-dyed yarn. This is not as easy care as the blanket I just showed you, but it's really gorgeous. And this would be really fun to make as a table runner or even a bigger size blanket if you just wanted a way to show off all of your pretty leftover yarns. This uses fingering weight yarn, and I really like the way that it came out, and I really like that I'll get to use it for my own little girl. So we are very excited about this news. This is something that we wanted to happen this year, and because we never do anything at half speed, the year that my husband finished grad school, that we moved to a brand new state, and then he starts a new job, just makes sense to throw a baby in the mix with that. So if you have baby patterns that you like, that are crochet, let me know in the comments below, because other than blankets, I really haven't made many baby items, and I'm going to make all of them now. So that's that. The next project is in a similar vein, and I actually have a whole little, I don't know, not quite a caboodle, but a little case full of yarns for that project. So one of the things that I saw that I really liked for babies was an alphabet blanket from Sass and Stitch, and it also uses fingering weight yarn. She made hers with Sorella tonals, and she had a little boy this year, and it's a very, very cute blanket. And so I knew that I probably had skeins of yarn in my stash that would coordinate pretty well. And so I bought the pattern, I bought some yarn that would contrast the colors that I already had, and I started making the squares this week. So since our last name is Michael, I started with an M for baby girl M, and it's so cute. The lighting is not great today because it's drizzly and rainy, but I also started with this yarn because I dyed this yarn at a, I think it was a fiber festival in Ann Arbor. So that's kind of our first color. And what I really like about the pattern, besides the fact that it's very clear and she has written instructions and color charts for each of the letters, she also has a diagram at the front of the pattern, or like at the beginning, where it shows you how she split up her colors so that none of the colors are right next to each other or right above each other. And so I'm going through and doing all of the squares that I think she used green on before, which is appropriate because I think this is the only color that I have that has a lot of green in it. And then I'll switch to another letter and do all of the background colors that kind of go with that. It's a very cute blanket. It's called the Alphabet Blanket from Sass and Stitch. You should check it out. I love it already, and I just started it this past week. So that's the M. I think I'm showing you the front. Trying to make sure I was showing you the right side. And this is also blocked because it is fingering weight yarn and it's all single crochet. It does curl a decent amount, which I'm going to show you because I've also finished the C. How cute is that? And you can tell that there's a pretty big difference between blocked and unblocked. And all I did for this is I soaked it and laid it flat. I didn't pin it because I wanted to see if I needed to pin it, and I don't think I will. So I'll block these squares as I go. Y'all know me, a lot of times I do not block squares as I go and I just block them at the end. But one, selfishly, I want to photograph these along and along, and they'll just look a lot clearer if I block them. But two, I just think it'll make seaming them easier since they are decent size. So yeah, I love this pattern. I've got an M and a C so far. I started working on a D. I think the Y is the last color that I'll do with this background color. And then let me show you the other colors I have. So this is the color that I'm using for all of my letters. It's from Malabrigo. I think it's got a cute name. Côte d'Azur. I'm assuming that is French, and I don't know how to pronounce French. So yeah, d'Azur, Côte d'Azur. It's gorgeous. It's like a midnight blue, and it's dark enough that it stands out against all the other colors that I had. And it's Malabrigo, and I love using Malabrigo. Very soft, very friendly with working with other yarns. And so I also have this. It's a single skein from Sorella. It's one of the oopsies that she sold a couple years ago. We've decided that baby girl's room is going to have like blues, purples, some pinks, and so there's a lot of blues in what I have in here, but I thought that would be really pretty for her blanket. And then I also have a couple of skeins from Bella Filato Studio, who is from Michigan. I bought these colors. I bought 3 skeins from her when she did Michigan inspired yarn, and I did not know what I was going to do with them when I bought them. So this has become, sorry, I had a weird hair. This seemed like a really good way to use them. So I've got another really pretty dark tealy blue. I love a teal blue. And then this one, once we found out that we were having a little girl, I was like, well, I'll throw this one in there because it's happy and bright. Not that if we had a boy, he wouldn't be able to wear pink. Pink is just a color. But I figured it would confuse people if I threw in a lot of pink. But now that we know that we're having a girl, less confusion. But I love this color. This one is called M22, and then this one was called Leland Blues. I've never used her yarn before, but it's really pretty. I'm excited to use it. And then I have this, it was actually left over from another project. It's from Emma's Yarn, and she's out of Florida. I think it's called Beach Please. But I needed a nice neutral, and I think this will be good for some neutral vibes. And then I also have this 50-gram skein called Norbert from Goosey Fibers. Bought this in Kansas City, and I know that because it's the only place I've ever seen Goosey Fibers, and I usually buy 50-gram skeins when I go to Kansas City. But I think this actually came in like a surprise bag that I got from them when I purchased some yarn. But I really like it a lot, and again, it's blue, and it's got flecks of other blues, a little bit of green, a little bit of orange. I think it'll work up really well. And then the rest of these I actually bought with a full skein when we were in San Francisco to do some kind of pretty faded shawl. But one, I have not started said shawl and don't really know when I will. And two, they play so well with the other colors. So I've got two of them from Machete Shop. This one is called something Guava Lane. Little focus. Beautiful. This one, which might have been my favorite, Mermaid Vibe. No, not Mermaid Vibes. Mermaid Jewels. I really liked this one. And then a pretty neutral with some pinks and some greens from Dream and Color Yarns called Whetstone. Focus, do it. There we go. So very excited about this lovely array. And part of me, I'm not 100%, I'm going to use all of these colors. I know that I want to use the mini skeins. I know that I want to use this guy, the lighter blue, probably the tan, and this one, M22. But if I do all of that and then still don't need to break into this skein, I won't. Just because this is the only one that is not going to pop as much against the dark blue. Like, it doesn't have as much contrast. And I have another skein I bought from her that this will coordinate with really well. So this one may or may not make it to the blanket, but we shall see. And the good thing about doing all of the colors, like doing all of the background colors at once instead of doing the letters in alphabetical order, is that I can make that decision and like decide, well, I don't really need another color, or I really would like another color. There are also going to be four corners that are just plain, that don't have a letter in them. So we'll see how all of that turns out. But I'm very excited about this project, and the squares are so much fun to make. And the fact that there's only going to be 30 total and I already have 2 done, like, part of me wants to slow down because it's been so much fun to work on. So really enjoying that. That's my first big project for baby girl. And I also, I finished the green and blue linen stitch square blanket, and I had some green left, and then I had this brown left from another blanket, and I just kind of wanted to use it, not have it sit in my stash. Because we're still settling into our house, we're still figuring out where everything goes, and I just wanted it out of stash and something made with. So I don't know 100% where this will go. I don't know if I'll gift this to a friend, or if I will use it, or if I'll put it on my Etsy shop. I haven't decided. But this is just a giant granny square made with the leftover Caron Simply Soft, and then this big twist tethered yarn. And I really like it. It kind of reminds me of mint chocolate. But yeah, I'm just going until I run out of yarn. I'm on my last skein of the brown, and then I should have enough of the green to do a border at the end. And it's already like, it would be a good, throw it in the car carrier, or just a small blanket for a baby. So we'll just see how much bigger it gets, but it's been a nice kind of mindless project, and it's worsted weight yarn, so it's just going quickly, which I also like. So those are my current projects, but I do have two that I'm going to start, a couple that I'm going to start soon. One is the Jaws yarn that I'm going to make a cowl with. I did wind the yarn, but I did not start working on the cowl. My husband starts work next week, and theoretically, I will have more time to focus on that instead of getting the house, like going through boxes, which is what we've been doing, and getting the house set up and running errands. So I say that, I mean, pregnancy naps have been taking a lot out of my days, including about 2 hours out of today after we did some running around this morning. But I do want to start the Jaws cowl soon. I'm also taking a trip to Seattle here in a couple of weeks. I think that will be a good one to work on the plane. So if I can get the bottom part started and to just work the fun Jaws yarn, I think that would be good. The other thing that I want to start soon is using these pretty yarns. So these were left over from the Peony Peplum dress, which if you haven't seen, I did a reel on Insta and here on YouTube. I did a short here on YouTube with the Peony Peplum dress. It's very cute and shows you like what it looks like all finished. And so I have this left over because I only used it on the bottom border of the dress. And since my best friend is also pregnant, in fact, we're due about 2 weeks apart, and she loves pumpkins, and she's also having a little girl, I've decided that we're gonna have our daughters have matching pumpkin sweaters. So I'm gonna use the same pattern that I did for a friend of mine in Ann Arbor, the pink little sweater that I did, but I'll do green at the top, and then I'll use the oranges underneath it so it looks like a pumpkin, and the name of the sweater is Pumpkin Sweater. So I think that'll be very cute and a lot of fun. So this might be the other small project that I take with me when I go to Seattle. Also, if you have a favorite Seattle yarn store, let me know, because the last time I was in Seattle, I was not looking for yarn stores. So my sister is currently working in Seattle and is very excited to show us around. So if you have a favorite, even if it's just a favorite place that we should check out, let me know, because we are very pumped and excited to get to make that trip. And that, I think, is all I have to show you. I did not buy any new yarn. I have plenty of yarn now, and I am going to be trying to work through some of my stash. I did go through my drawers of finished projects, and I have a couple of things that I either don't wear anymore or need to be fixed, or I never really wore and just kind of want to rework. So I do have some other things I'm going to be taking apart soon to revamp and refresh. And then I know that there's a tutorial I want to do soon as well, where I take the dimensions of a sweater, like a store-bought sweater that I wear all the time, and figure out how to make a pattern from that and show you how to do the same. So very excited for all the things that are coming up. But what I can't let go of, obviously, is that we've got this exciting news, and that we're going to be girl parents and all the fun things that come along with that. My husband is stoked. We had no preference on sex. There was no wrong answer there. And but now that we know, it's fun to kind of make those decisions and plan. And obviously our families are over the moon, our friends are over the moon. And the fact that she's doing early December, my birthday is also in early December, so that's also really sweet. And yeah, that's what I can't let go of, and I don't think I ever will be able to let go of that. If you have any pattern recommendations or recommendations for places we should check out in Seattle, let me know down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.